Okay. It's past 5 a.m. I'm up late, not early. Just trying to find a foothold here. Okay. What we're gonna do go through some of my tabs. So this is, I forgot to close these. Bernie Sanders is a leader. Whatever. I'll close it later. Put all my YouTubes. And we're starting from scratch. Don't you love to see it? Don't you love to see it? It is caucus day in Nevada today.
Joe Biden, nice guys. I'm not here to criticize them. But they are reaching out. Both of them have received campaign funds from more than 40 billionaires. Pete has gotten money from the CEOs of the drug companies, the healthcare industry. So what makes our campaign different is we're raising money too, but we ain't raising money from billionaires. We don't have a super PAC. We have received more campaign contributions from more Americans than any candidate in the history of American politics.
Any Democrat who thinks they need corporate cash in order to survive, you don't. Bernie Sanders has proven, easily proven, that you don't need that. I can't wait till the first quarter 2020 fundraising comes out. We're still halfway through the first quarter, but can't wait to see those numbers. I'm sure Bernie smashes everybody except Bloomberg, but he raises money from himself. I mean, Bernie Sanders has a 19-point lead in Nevada, according to the latest poll from Data for Progress. Elizabeth Warren at 16, Buttigieg 15, Biden 14. That's it. I mean, it's pretty much done. Like, even if he gets half of that lead, that's a 10-point lead. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. A 9-point lead. I'm happy with that. And where's Biden gonna go from there? Where's his ticket into South Carolina now? I thought that was his firewall. What's going on there? Biden's cracking. Okay, barely that video did play very well. That's okay. We know what he looks like. This is legal in my state. Not that I care. I mean, it's nice. I do care. But you know what I mean. Bernie Sanders will legalize marijuana on day one. Bernie Sanders pledges legal marijuana in all 50 states on day one. I turned off my ad blocker. Ugh, they've got me. This thing that I'm doing right now, in the past few days I felt the change, and that I've been waiting for like months, years even. Because they've been doing these websites have been doing this for a while, gradually, just a few at a time. First it was the few big ones, and then now they're all doing this. They're all making you shut off your ad block before you can do. Some of the nice ones have a one-click whitelist, which I'm like, whatever. Then I'll just do it. These I used to be a little bit more hesitant, you know, like, no, I'm not ready to give in to Forbes yet. But now, I have to give in to everybody. And the thing is, before, when I wasn't giving in, when I was just like, no, I'm not going to your website, I'll find another source. I always knew what they were doing. I knew the way it was headed. I knew that all of them would do it eventually, and I knew that I would give in because I would have to give in. It sucks. Whatever. I hate ads. I hope we someday find a way around this. If there is one, I would like to know about it. Ad block, especially on YouTube, it means so much. We will move forward to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana, and we will make certain that the legalized marijuana industry is not controlled by a handful of corporations, but that those people, the African American community, the Latino community, the Native American community, those people who have suffered the most will get help in order to make money through a legalized marijuana industry. Watch Sanders pledge to legalize marijuana. It's far from clear that Sanders as president would actually be able to accomplish it, let alone end it and get it done hours after he's sworn in. The executive branch does not have authority to reclassify cannabis without further action from Congress. Didn't know that. But the details of the process involve steps by the Attorney General of Health and Human Services Secretary. Sanders' designees unlikely to be installed on his first day. Why are they unlikely to be installed on his first day? And by the way, can we just stop? Can we stop the bullshit? Day one doesn't... Can he do it on day 4? Does it have to be day 1? Come on. You get the idea. This is the top priority. He'll do it immediately because it can be done quickly. You can. If you can go around Congress and do it, do it. Current law also means that international drug treaties could complicate moves by an administration to deschedule marijuana from the CSA entirely. And when it comes to enacting legalization in every state, there's not much a president can do to force the repeal. Well, he's not going to force the repeal of local laws. He's saying on a federal level it'll be legal. I'm sure in, 29 states it'll be banned. For now. I don't know actually though, because even in those states it's pretty popular. Earlier this week, the Washington Post reported that top Sanders campaign aides included federal legalization of cannabis in a list of possible executive orders to take place in early 2021. So that's it. It's a top priority. He's not going to do it on day 1. Stop it. I don't know if this works. I don't know. It's worked once, a little. Anyway. The polls in Nevada have been kind of turning toward Bernie. And then this happened. I'm still shocked about this. Like, everyone was like, shock pull, Bernie's up 7 points. I'm like, shock pull, Bernie's up 19 points. Yeah, that's a big one. So if he wins Nevada by 19 points, what kind of bump do you think that's going to give him? If he wins Nevada by 10 points, what kind of bump? He's already obviously gotten a really significant bump from Iowa and New Hampshire. And Pete hasn't. He's 15%'s not going to do it for him. He needs to be in second place, a strong second at least. But again, you can't even win the nomination by being strong second in every state. You gotta. He has to be the guy that they all coalesce around, and that's just, I don't see that happening, and it's not happening. It's the one they're coalescing around is Bloomberg, which is appalling on every level. It offends the very humanity, the core of my humanity. I can't even. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but Bloomberg isn't on there either. So, was he even polled in here? If he wasn't polled, oh shit! If he wasn't polled in here, I'm not even gonna. I don't see his name. Look at that. Did they pull him and he was so low they didn't mention him? Let's dig in a little. I didn't even look at this. By the way, this is Data for Progress. I love Data for Progress. They've done some really great work. They don't always do polling. Sometimes they collect data from other polls and put together reports. They did this thing called the Future of the Party Report, which is fantastic. Everyone should have read it in like 2015. It's kind of old news now. I still go back to it every once in a while because there's a lot of good data about rural states and about how it shows that 42 states show majority support for Medicare for All. Medicare for All is popular in 42 states. So, and the ones that it's unpopular, it's like, actually, I shouldn't say unpopular. I should say over 50%. So it's not. So the ones that are under 50% are like 48, 49, 47. So it's a really popular policy. See what I'm saying? Everywhere. See how I go off on tangents? They did ask about Bloomberg. You have a generally favored opinion about Bloomberg. People said fuck no. See? How are you gonna win when you're down here and he's up there? That doesn't work like that. Mike Bloomberg is very, very hated. He may be able to fluff up his campaign with a bunch of money. But do you think you're gonna turn this tide in a few months? Couple months? A month? Less than a month? There's primaries coming up tomorrow, today now. South Carolina's coming up, the 29th on Leap Day. What day is it? That's kind of a while. I think it's on Leap Day. But you can't win with that. You're almost down there with Tulsi Gabbard. Like, she used to be in her own class. Look at Tulsi. She used to be in her own category. Now she's got a friend. Yeah, that'd be a nice ticket. Interesting, but yeah, okay. Check on that. Nope. Nevada caucus goers overwhelmingly support progressive change. That's what Data for Progress does best. All others don't know. All others. Okay, yeah, I'm going to dig into the crosstabs because I assume that they asked about Bloomberg and his support was really low. And I'm hoping that's right, but let's take a look. don't care about favorable. Who would you vote for? Oh no. Guess what? This poll's bogus. This poll's bogus! They didn't ask Bloomberg! You didn't ask about Bloomberg! No. No. That's a factor. When was this poll done? What in the hell? I am really pissed. I got fooled by this. I got fooled big time. I was so happy. I gasped. I was like, oh! It was even more loud than that. I was trying to exaggerate, but it was even... I'm tired right now. It was like heavy. I gasped my ass off. But look at this. This is pathetic. Alright, well, what can you do? This poll's bogus. They literally didn't ask Bloomberg's name. How do you put that in there without asking Bloomberg? Okay, I don't understand. I'm done. Done with this poll. What a shit poll. How do you not ask about Bloomberg? What do the comments say? Did anyone notice? Anyone? Did anyone say a thing? Look, I know he has very low popularity. He's not likable. People don't like him. Democrats don't like him. He's not gonna beat Bernie, okay, overall. But he's a factor. I want to know. I don't think Bernie's winning Nevada by 19 points, okay? Don't think it's gonna happen. Fuck. That's a bogus poll. Let's see what's on Twitter. It's so deflating, man. I know Bernie's ahead. You don't have to puff it up like that. Jeez. God, get my hopes up for a living. He'd be about the same as Trump. I asked a question a while back. Well, yesterday. Do you think that Mike Bloomberg would actually be a worse president than Donald Trump? How so? Hashtag never Bloomberg. Hashtag billionaire Bloomberg. Because we need to talk about how not just any Democrat is acceptable. Anyone says, "Oh, I'm going to run for the Democratic nomination." Okay, no, you're bad. You're awful. You're like, look, I don't ever use this word, but I'll save it for the certain class of people who get rich off of the backs of the working class and then use that money to buy politicians and, buy people and buy power, buy influence, and move things around to his liking. Buy the presidency? No. No. The year Bernie Sanders is running? No. When Bernie's so close? No. He is like, yeah, that's what he represents, evil to me. Now, Trump is my enemy, right? Trump is my opponent. But Bloomberg is pure evil. Got it? So that's why I asked this question. And I actually am not sure. I don't know if Bloomberg would be worse. I don't know. It's an open question. And we should all be asking that and discussing that. Because it's an open question. It's not something that, well, any blue will do. How blue really is he, by the way? Is he a Democrat? Is he? I know how important party labels are to people. Is he a Democrat? Democrats don't usually give millions of dollars away to Republicans. Pat Toomey and Lindsey Graham. And I don't even want to get into that. He's buying endorsements in this race, this very race. Every time a Democrat comes out and endorses Michael Bloomberg, check, follow the money. You'll always find it. Alright. I'm gonna go right into the lion's den. I don't have my water. Oh, there it is. You know what defeats? Here's her pinned tweet. Her pinned tweet has an implicit attack on Bernie bros, or Bernie, whatever she thinks of it. Bernie bros. Bernie supporters. You know what defeats the hatefulness of Trumpism? The largest electoral margin defeat since Goldwater. That is what he deserves. A humiliating historic landslide loss. And that is actually possible. But it takes a bigger coalition than your Twitter bubble. Build the army. That is so funny because she gets so much of her fuel from her Twitter followers and from her circle. She's probably got a bunch of her circle of people that just congratulates her, and she likes when she gets those likes. Just like everyone else, she's not someone who's outside of any sort of bubble. She's very much within the bubble. And by the way, not just the Twitter bubble, but the DC power bubble. Like, she is establishment through and through. And it's pretty much obvious, but it's like she does call herself progressive. And if you ask her, she's like, no, I'm a progressive. Okay, but you oppose Medicare for all. You oppose Bernie Sanders. You blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to get into it. You're obviously not progressive. You can use the word, but you're just perverting its meaning for your own purposes. Because you're a pervert. Oh, God. Rachel Maddow. She used to be great, huh? Now all she talks about is goddamn Trump administration. Used to be Russia, then it was Ukraine, and now what? Headlines about DOJ calling for bar design. Our country can pull back from the brink. I don't honestly think our country gives a fuck about this. I didn't know about this. I mean, I knew Barr was under fire or whatever, and might resign or whatever, but I don't honestly care which stooge is in that position. It doesn't matter to me. You know, Democrats they get obsessed over getting these people out of office as if that's just, they won't be filled in with another one that's just as worse. This is not how you solve the problem. It is, by the way, I used to be like a Democrat partisan, and it is emotionally satisfying to beat the other side. It's emotionally satisfying when you beat them in an election. It's emotionally satisfying when they have to resign in shame, when they get caught in a scandal. Yeah, it's all great. I used to follow Right Wing Watch, and they used to say the dumbest things. I loved it because they were such idiots. But that kind of like hate mongering, like stewing and like hate for other people is like not healthy. And I wasn't a smart person back then. Tell us practical difference Boomer president would be for the working class. Alright. Here's what Rio Labrador said. He didn't say it recently. I just want to talk about it because it's... Yeah, it's 2 years old. It's 2 years old, but it deserves to be talked about now because... Medicare for all, okay? So I'm just gonna go through my posts because I know I have it. I'm gonna look for the flames. There we go. Those flames. Everyone loves those flames, don't they? Those flames. Except no one likes it when they're used on the candidate you like. And of course, every time they don't use it very often on like Bernie because they can't. Turn this down. But when look, PolitiFact is kind of shitty. Okay, they do some shitty fact checking. It's not really fact checking. It's just kind of like putting their stupid spin on these issues, these stories like that. And then here's what they do. This is the worst. They do a lot of things, but this is the worst thing they do, and most common that I notice. They will take a true statement, just factually true statement, and then they will arbitrarily decide that it, for some reason, requires more context. And they'll come up with reasons. They'll be like, well, you didn't, you know, it was true, but you didn't say that. So then they'll rate it mostly true or half true. And really, you can't just decide that there needs to be more context and then rate it not as true because of that. You could say, well, you need more context, but you can't say that's not a true statement. So there's a difference, a huge difference between lacking context and false, or even half true. If something lacks context, it's not half true. And by the way, who decides what context is required? You know, why do you get to decide? So they decide based on what I've seen in the past, some pretty faulty logic. So I don't trust PolitiFact very much, but they did a good report here. If you look into this report, it shows. I'll show you in a second. So Raul Labrador is doing a town hall. Raul Labrador is a Republican. I think he is governor now. Or did he lose his governor race? I don't know. I don't remember. But he was in the House. He was like a conservative Republican, like a hardline Freedom Caucus Republican. He's at a town hall, and someone asks him, "You are mandating people on Medicaid accepting." You are mandating people on Medicaid except dying, one audience member said. Raul Labrador, no. You know, that line is so indefensible. Nobody dies because they don't have access to health care. Like, that is one of the worst things you could possibly say. Like, so many people, I can't even. So many people's lives are being erased by that statement. It's just completely crazy for anyone in power to utter any such thing. And you could just do a basic Google search and come up with some... oh my fucking god. So PolitiFact, of course, ripped it apart because this is easily pants on fire. Anyone can see that. You Google deaths, healthcare, boom, drops right up. It's obvious. And they're official studies. It's not some crackpot progressive advocating Medicare for all. Ugh. 44,789 deaths in the United States. More than those caused by kidney disease. 3 studies looked at state-level expansion of Medicaid, and each found significant improvements in mortality after such expansions of coverage. These include a 2012 New England Journal of Medicine study of New York, Maine, and Arizona by Harvard researchers, and a 2014 study of Massachusetts by researchers from Harvard and the Urban Institute. Ooh, I don't even remember. I don't even know what that said. But basically, it just linked to the studies. So basically, there have been studies showing that there's been a lot of deaths, thousands of deaths per year, whether it's 7,000, 17,000, or 44,000. The fact is, it's fucking insane. Oh, this is the study. This is the one I always look at. It's from 2009, okay? So don't get your panties in a bunch. Okay, that's not even the right one. Anyway. Let's have some fun here. Alright. First, Emma, because I saw her name and I love Emma. So let's go to Emma Vigeland. I love Emma Vigeland. Who doesn't love Emma Vigeland? She wrote her first op-ed ever 9 days ago about the Iowa caucus debacle. What do you know? Jeff Bezos pledges $10 billion to fight climate change. What did she retweet? A reminder, philanthropy is considered strategy for rich people who want to get out of paying actual income taxes, and also it doesn't actually work. To that, I'll also add, he needs to turn his company into a worker cooperative in order for him to be a moral person. This doesn't make anything. This doesn't atone for anything. And stop terrorizing the homeless in Seattle, please. Thank you. Bloomberg campaign has now disclosed $400 million in broadcast, radio, and cable ads, $42 million in Facebook ads, and $36 million on Google ads. $42 million just on Facebook. God knows how much staff, research, and polling. Absolutely on its way to being a mini multi-billion-dollar effort at this pace. I'm just thinking about the destruction of my country and everything that's nice and good in it. That's what Bloomberg reminds me of. When I see his face, I see just nothing like death and blackness and horror and just a total dystopia. Like, when I really do see that we have two paths, okay? We have a good future with healthcare and education and things that we deserve and want. And then we have dystopia with authoritarians and fascists and thugs coming down on us and beating our asses and arresting us forever and throwing us and who knows and spying on us. That's what Bloomberg represents. That's what Trump represents. Okay, Bernie is the good way forward right here. Alright? And Biden is playing this third way game. Biden's been a triangulating third way corporate politician his whole life. He can't be trusted. He stands for nothing, and he's falling apart mentally, and that's why he's falling apart in the polls. His campaign is running out of money. The only one who can beat Bernie is Bloomberg, and it's absolutely fucking absurd that any Democrat would consider voting for Mike Bloomberg. This isn't somebody that we just have disagreements with and blah blah. No, this is the absolute bane of our existence. Even if you don't know that, he is the bane of your existence. Okay? Unless you're a billionaire, he is the bane of your existence. And even if you are a billionaire, if you're a lesser billionaire than him, he'll probably fucking eat your lunch. He doesn't care. He just is the biggest capitalist predator you can imagine. I don't trust anything. I don't want him. I can't imagine. He needs to be as far away from every lever of power as possible. I can't explain how negative my feelings about Mike Bloomberg are. They're just, I can't express. I'm gonna go off because I've got some ideas for shorter videos. I'm gonna try a couple of those. I like the idea of chilling and talking live with my dab pen and my music, but I got the creative bug right now. Bye.